Hi, welcome back. This is Donna again from ABC Cake Decorating and Baking Supplies. Today I want to go over with you Paw Patrol cupcakes. The trick to these, number one, is we are going to be using ice cream cones and we are going to be using a 2-bag striped method. If you went with me through the cake journey, we did touch on 2-bag striping, but now we're going to just enhance it a little bit because we're going to use chocolate and vanilla icing along with our ice cream cone. Things you're going to need are ice cream cones. What's nice is to have a mini muffin pan. The mini muffin pan, what that is going to do is let's move this out of the way for you. What it's going to do is let us hold our ice cream cones as we bake them. One of the things I try not to do is get them really close together, only because I'm afraid if one should happen to tip or if you overfill it, it's going to run into the other. So I do try to stagger them just a little bit when I'm baking them. Also, what I've done is I've kind of embellished my little cake tray here with just some little paw print ribbon so you can go in and embellish. One of the things I found is when you go and you want to decorate it with a doily, you may not have the color that you want. Well, with a little bit of edible spray paint and paper doily, you can create any color you want. In the very next lesson, I took a doily and I painted it all black, and it's all food grade edible paint for our Minnie and Mickey cupcakes that we're going to be doing. So this one I just sprayed blue, and this one I'll show you exactly how easy it is to do it because I'll spray this one yellow. And generally what I do is I'll put 2 different colors on top, and then when I put these on here, it just gives it a little bit nicer presentation. Also, I have some little candies, the dog paw candies. They come in different sizes, somewhat different shapes, and then the sugar dog paws that I had to put on there. Also, if this is the Paw Patrol you're wanting to go after, they also have little novelty rings and everything that all the kids like and can play with afterwards. Because of the girl here, Sky, I added a little bit of extra ribbon because she's a girl and girls like ribbons and pretty things like that. Okay? Then, of course, we're going to need our cake mix, or in this case, our cupcake mix. So we want to just make sure it's nice and mixed up. One of the things I found when I'm making these cupcakes is do not overfill it. If you look right here, there is a line. You just want to go a little bit above that, because you really don't want it to go above too much, because then it starts oozing over, and when it does, it starts to break down the cupcake ice cream cone, and then it starts to take away some of its structure, and sometimes it doesn't look so pretty either when you have cake oozing out of your ice cream cone. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead, move this stuff out of the way. Now, I'm only going to be filling 3 cupcakes or 3 ice cream cones, so I really don't need a bag this big. But when I do fill all of my ice cream cones, I do use a larger bag so I don't have to keep refilling it. If you remember, going back to a cake journey, I always said don't fill your bags more than halfway full. I also said sometimes it's okay, and that's when you're icing a cake, or that's when you're using this to fill up with cake batter, because you're going to be going through it so fast and you're not going to be stressing out your hand like you would be in decorating. So what I'm going to do, I'll still use the large one, but if all you have is a large one and you need a small bag, all you need to do is just go in and you can cut your bag to any size you want. All the bags, again, start at the same size here and they just go bigger. So now I have probably about a 14-inch bag from a 20-inch bag. So now it's going to be a little bit easier for me to go ahead and be able to handle it. Again, because I'm very, very messy, I always pull it over because I don't have a buddy in the kitchen to help me, and it's very hard to hold this without making a mess and scooping it in there. I go ahead and take this, and a vase, a big glass, anything you have will work. You can do one of two things. You can either take it and you can just kind of throw it in here, or you can take and you can spoon it in there. Now, because I'm not filling up so many, I'm not going to overfill this because we're going to use this in other lessons coming up. Okay, now I've got my bag, and watch how easy this is. Now, if I was actually going to be filling my cupcake pans, what I would do, I would cut, squeeze, lift up, cut, squeeze, lift up. That way there, I'm not making my pans real messy, okay? So I'm just gonna cut a little bit right here. Now I have my batter in my bag, and now I wanna go ahead and start filling my cups. So my ice cream cones, I'm gonna take my batter, and I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze it in here till it's just about halfway full. I don't wanna go much higher than this because I don't want, like I say, I don't want it to start going over, and that's very important. You do that mistake once, you're gonna learn very quickly. Oops. So I'm gonna just keep filling these up. And what's really nice with these little minis is that they hold these cupcakes just perfect, or these ice cream cone cupcakes. So see, I pretty much got them the same, and I'm gonna stagger them just in case my cake batter decides to go crazy on me, and sometimes it does. Because sometimes, I'll tell you, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but sometimes I'll make this exact same recipe. One day it works, next day it doesn't. So sometimes you just don't know. So now I have these, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick them in the oven. I have it set at 350. And you usually just wait till they're just golden brown. And that usually takes about, gotta keep your eye on them, because remember about the oven temperatures and making sure your oven is heating just right. But usually after about 12-15 minutes, start checking them to make sure that they are just a nice golden brown. And then when you cut it, you have cupcake all the way, or you have cupcake all the way from the bottom all the way up, okay? So then we're gonna take this, and if you heard, my oven was beeping when we were talking, so it's telling me it's ready. So we're gonna go ahead and put these guys in here. You wanna be careful not to mess it up. And then we're gonna go into our timer, and we're gonna start on the low side. So we're always gonna go low because you can always check and you can cook longer. But you cannot bake or cook any longer if you've waited too long, okay? So we got those in the oven. Now we want our cupcake, our ice cream cone cupcake. What I've done here, just so you didn't have to see me fill more bags, is I've got a vanilla icing and I have a chocolate icing. And I put them in our bags. And then once you cut these, and I always wait because I don't want them to start oozing out before I need them. So I'm just gonna cut little holes in them, just enough so the icing can come out. And then like I was talking about in the cake journey, one of the things, because we're gonna take these two bags and we're gonna put them into one bag. Sometimes they don't want to cooperate, so you just got to kind of mush them just a little bit because we want to get those two bags into this tip right here. This is a 848 tip, and if you remember when we first started talking, do you remember what kind of tip this is? It's a closed star tip, okay. So we're going to go ahead. Sometimes these guys kind of stick together. I want to open it up. Now, I'm not going to use the coupler. Remember, we talked about the coupler. I just want to use my tip here. So I'm going to put it in. And again, remember, we don't want to cut way back here. We want to cut just above the indentations. So you can either just mark it with your finger, or if you want, you can take a pen and you can mark it. We're going to push it back. We're going to cut it. Now, if you cut it too short, that's okay, because you can always cut it again. See how it just goes right above all those indentations? That way there, when you start to squeeze, you're not going to lose your tip. Okay, some people like the couplers because they like that feeling of having their tip nice and secure so it doesn't pop out. So again, I'm going to fold my bag over. Then I'm going to take my 2 icings, kind of flatten them out, and then hopefully they won't fight in my bag. Then one of the things I always do before I start my icing is I always do, oops, look at that. I always do a practice. Now, if you didn't cut it long enough, easy enough, just take them out. And you can see this, the chocolate one needs to be cut a little bit more. There we are. Okay. And put these in here and shake it down. Okay. Now, we want to just squeeze and make sure we're getting out all of our icings. So now see, we've got our 2 color icings. So what I've done is I've taken my icing and I've started on the outside and I started to slowly swirl in until I get to the top. So we're going to take it. And for some reason my chocolate's a little bit softer than my vanilla, so you're going to probably see the chocolate come out a little bit more. And that again is where the consistency comes in. So see, I'm starting on the outside and I'm swirling and coming up. And then when I get as high as I think I want it, I'm going to stop and pull away. And now I've got the chocolate swirl. Now all I'm going to do is just take a couple of these, and because we're using the decorator icing, remember that is a crusting icing. When you touch it, it gets hard and it doesn't come off on your hands, but it's still soft because of the high ratio shortening in it. You want to make sure you put your little jimmies or candies on there before it starts to crust, or they're not going to stick. So you put your little dog paws and your dog bones on, and then you just take, you know, whichever ring you like and put it on top, and then there you have it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the Paw Patrol with the ice cream cupcakes. Next series we're going to be doing is a Disney-based series. It's going to be a 2-part for the first one. It's going to be a mini cupcake and then a Mickey cupcake with some cool decorating techniques. And then the next one's going to be a Nemo and a Dory cupcake themed. Hope to see you then.